So there's a new film that's come out by Olivia, what's her name? Olivia Wilde. It's called Don't Worry Darling. And the villain is apparently the villain is based off Jordan Peterson, which is already just nonsense. We can already tell what kind of person Olivia Wilde is just based off that. This is not the first time Jordan Peterson's had to deal with this. Marvel based the Red Skull off of him in one of the Captain America comics, which again was laughable at best. But the Young Turks have picked up the story and they've tried to spin it a certain way to make Jordan Peterson look bad. So we're going to watch that video now. For anyone that doesn't know who the Young Turks are, they're a progressive news outlet on YouTube. They've been on YouTube for God knows how long now, since the website's been here. For as long as they've been on YouTube, they have been talking the most shit. For a channel that has over 5 million subscribers, it is shocking how low the view count is on their videos. And it's because people have figured out that the guys over at TYT, the Young Turks, are complete hacks. They don't believe anything that they say, but we'll watch the video and we'll see what they have to say about this.
Director and actress Olivia Wilde recently revealed in her upcoming film, Don't Worry Darling, that she based a character off of Jordan Peterson. Now, of course, Peterson was not flattered by the remarks. Before we get to his meltdown over it, we'll tell you what Olivia Wilde had to say about it. First, some info, 411, about this film, which just premiered at the Venice Film Festival and apparently has this background of a lot of drama. Alice and Jack are lucky to be living in the idealized community of Victory, the experimental company town housing the men who work for the top secret Victory Project and their families, or for them. Okay, so the 1950s societal optimism espoused by their CEO, Frank, equal parts corporate visionary and motivational life coach, anchors every aspect of daily life in the tight-knit desert utopia. When cracks in Alice's idyllic life begin to appear, exposing flashes of something much more sinister lurking beneath the attractive facade, Alice can't help questioning exactly what they're doing in Victory and why. So that's the premise of the film, okay? Now, Chris Pine plays the role of Frank, who was inspired by Jordan Peterson. Now, how do we know that? Well, in an interview with Maggie Gyllenhaal, Olivia Wilde made that known. So Wilde said, "We based Chris Pine's character on this insane man, Jordan Peterson, who is this pseudo-intellectual hero to the incel community. You know, the incels."
These people are so pathetic and so low. There's video footage online, which I will show you guys in a second, of Jordan Peterson literally telling men how to get out there and handle their business correctly.
That's not your problem. Your problem is why you can't find the woman you want. Yeah. And you have to assume that's your problem, because otherwise you have to assume that it's the women's problem. And really, they're all wrong and you're right. So you're a young man, and all the women are rejecting you. Who's got the problem? It's not all the women. That's a bad road to go down. If all the women are rejecting you, it's you.
So, as you've seen, baseless lies. What they're saying literally contradicts what he's saying.
Yeah,
he's
100%.
telling men, you are the problem. He's blaming the guys. How can any man sit there and say that all the women are the problem, but not himself? He needs to look inwards. And that's exactly what Jordan Peterson has told these men. There are mountains and hours of footage of Jordan Peterson telling young men that they need to become better and they will get better and to not expect. But these people lie and call him an insane man.
Gyllenhaal responds, no. Wilde says, they're basically disenfranchised, mostly white men who believe they are entitled to sex from women. Gyllenhaal responds, oh, right.
But this is what we have to deal with. Every day we have to come in here, tell you a story of right-wing lunatics, and then debate the lunatics. And so I love Gyllenhaal's reaction there. Like, oh, men who think they're entitled to date women.
No, not to date women, entitled to get sex from women.
Yes,
yeah.
And to mate with women, basically. And she's like, oh, right. Well, of course that would exist. And of course we would have to debate them. No, you do not have a right to mate with women. otherwise known as rape, by the way. But anyway, okay.
You have nothing of worth to say anymore. All you do is chat shit. There's literally video evidence online. You're supposed to be a journalist or a news anchor or whatever the hell you're supposed to be doing these days. I don't know, man. You just scream into the camera. There's video footage online. Do your job.
Yeah.
The man is literally telling men to go out there and be better, to not expect women to give their bodies up. There's hours. There's not just 2 clips that I showed on here. Keeping this video short for the people at home, but there's not just 2 clips. There are hours of footage of him talking to young men. Literally lectures that go on for hours. There's loads of testimonies of people saying that Jordan Peterson has told them to go out there and be better and to not expect things from the world, including a woman's body. And you're sitting there acting like he's a right-wing lunatic that you need to debate. You are an idiot of the highest order. And the only reason you will not debate Jordan Peterson is because you are literally lying. This is borderline defamation.
It is, yeah.
And he would absolutely destroy you in a debate because you are straight up lying. This is not a clash of opinions. You're just lying. This TYT was supposed to be the news outlet that didn't tell any lies, that it was different from CNN and MSNBC. But as you can see, they are bought and sold. They are full of shit as well. This isn't a difference of opinions. They're not saying something that I disagree with. They are outright lying about someone.
It's all incorrect information, yeah.
You don't have that right as pseudo-intellectual that tells you that that is the right thing, that as a matter of nature is not an intelligent person. But nope, we got to debate it. I guarantee you, anybody, there's right wingers watching this now going, oh, yeah, right. Jordan Peterson's the smartest man I know. Yeah, maybe you know.
How exactly are these men supposed to be laid when conservatives believe that women should be chaste, right? Okay, anyway, let me continue. So after Maggie Gyllenhaal says, oh, right. Wilde responds with, and they believe, meaning the incels, and they believe that society has now robbed them, that the idea of feminism is working against nature and that we must be put back into the correct place. Gyllenhaal responds with, well, they must be psyched. Things are going really well for them. And
I love her dry humor.
I know. Wilde responds, yeah, they're actually succeeding in many different ways. But this guy, Jordan Peterson, is someone that legitimizes certain aspects of their movement because he's a former professor. He's an author, he wears a suit. So they feel like this is a real philosophy that should be taken seriously. Okay, so Jordan Peterson didn't take kindly to that description of who he is, even though it's accurate.
It's unfair.
This is actually sad that
it's
sad that people watch this garbage channel. These liars, they are outright lying. These are supposed to be journalists. They're supposed to have some sort of integrity, and they are outright lying. They're saying that was an accurate description, and you're wondering why he doesn't like what you're saying. Are you serious? Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur are 2 of the most stupid people you will ever meet in your life. I am talking, I know I say this a lot, bottom of the barrel stupid. Literally, the crevice of the barrel at the bottom where the fucking fish are stuck.
And we'll get to his reaction to it in just a moment, but I want to give Cenk an opportunity to jump in.
Yeah. No, I love how much Olivia Wilde knows about this situation. She's more political apparently, or paying attention to politics more than other folks are. It's a perfect person to caricature, right? But the last part of what she said is the most true. People just want an excuse to do what they want to do. And all they need is, you know how Fox News uses minorities and women to argue against minorities and women, right?
Yep.
Or they'll use Dave Rubin to argue against people in the LGBTQ community, et cetera. It's this old trick, right? But they also need people in suits saying fancy words, not making any sense, but saying what they want to hear. Okay?
Right, because it gives this illusion of legitimacy, right?
Exactly.
So like on one hand, you've got clowns like Andrew Tate, and it's like, who's gonna take Andrew Tate? Like, look, there are definitely misogynistic dudes and incels who love Andrew Tate, but he doesn't give that illusion of legitimacy that I think for a very long time, Jordan Peterson was able to do. But I think that whole facade is cracking because he can't stop crying, literally.
Yeah, and that's a separate issue, but he also makes no sense at all.
He makes no sense, yeah.
And so whether it's him saying, oh yeah, women should be forced to date you, okay, but he says it in a suit and he says it with SAT words, they go, yes.
Jen, just because you're too stupid to figure out that he's telling men not to expect to have a woman's body, that's not Jordan Peterson's fault. That's your fault. Pick up a dictionary, learn the definitions of the words that he's using, and then maybe he'll make sense to you. But you're so blinded by your ridiculous ideologies and the need to pander to your audience that you are no better than Ethan Klein and the H3H3 podcast.
Yeah.
You are in the same league as them.
That's the vibe it's giving me right now, to be honest.
This is the problem with these news outlets. They're no longer there to report the news. They're there to give you their opinions. They've just said that it's an accurate description of this guy. And I've just shown you two clips. That's it. That's all you needed to see. But you go on Jordan Peterson's channel and you look for any videos where he's talking to men about how to become men. You go onto the Daily Wire's website where he has a show on talking to men about how to be better versions of themselves. And you'll see that these people are full of shit. We know why people are not really watching the Young Turks anymore. It's because everybody else has more brain cells than these people.
Curtis Yarrow, when I interviewed him here, he's saying that we need a CEO president or a monarch president or a dictator president. Now, that makes no sense. I asked them, well, then what if the dictator turns on you and kills you? He said, well, that would be unfortunate. Okay, but Peter Thiel, Blake Masters, JD Vance want to be able to be a dictator. So that they go, Curtis Yarwood, intellectual. Same thing with Alexander Dugin in Russia. The guy's a maniac. He says we should go back to the medieval ages and we should kill anyone who disagrees. They're like, oh, Russian philosopher Dugin. Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, all these morons refer to him as if he's a smart guy. He's saying murder your political opponents. What part of that is intellectual, right? They just need a guy in a suit. That's all they need.
All right, so now we go to Jordan Peterson's reaction. He didn't like it. And he uses the same jargon to, again, give you this illusion of intellectualism. He says, now Pine, meaning Chris Pine, has a reputation as quite an attractive man. He does, I concur.
Yeah.
So that could be worse. I also hope that Chris Pine at least does the sartorial splendor of my very formal public wardrobe justice as he pillories me in the latest bit of propaganda disseminated by the woke, self-righteous bores and bullies who now dominate Hollywood and who insist on the production of such tripe. See, like, normal people who happen to be intelligent don't talk like that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
It reads like an SAT essay.
He's trying so hard.
So because Jordan Peterson is well educated and he talks a certain way and you probably don't understand a word of what he's saying, you think what? I don't even know what she's getting at right now.
Yeah, they're just using everything they can to just go against everything and anything.
Yeah, so what if everyday people don't speak like that? I don't know, maybe you'd learn a thing or two. Maybe there's a word that you don't understand and you should pick up a dictionary and actually find out before jumping to assumptions that discredit your channel even more.
I just find they're being very ignorant.
They're childish.
Yeah.
They're childish. I love the way he says that Fox News parades around minorities, this, that, and the other. They do the same thing. They do the exact same thing. They will say everything they want to say, but then if a woman comes on here and disagrees with them, or if a black man comes on there and disagrees with them, oh, we don't want to talk to them. They've been whitewashed. They've bought into the patriarchy. They're the exact same. They're no different. If anything, I would argue that the Young Turks is worse than Fox News. If anything, I would argue that the Young Turks is as bad as CNN. They're as bad as CNN, and that is a tall order. Because CNN is pretty bad.
That's what's funny about it. So sartorial, pillories, tripe, right? And the right wingers that are listening to him have no idea what he's saying. Okay, all they heard there was woke.
Big words.
Oh, yeah, I'm against woke, and what he said about the sarcastic tutorial thing. Okay, yeah, against the woke. Chicks should be made to date me.
You've made it abundantly clear that you don't understand what he's saying because you keep on saying he's making no sense. They're insulting conservatives, saying all they would understand in that quote is woke. At the same time, also admitting they have no clue what the hell he's saying because they're too stupid.
It's like he's trying to be funny.
Yeah, he tries to be funny all the time. He's not. He just comes across as like, everyone's got that ignorant uncle. They come to the barbecue. They sit there saying really ignorant things.
Yeah.
That's what he comes across as.
Listen. To all the men out there, all the young men out there who are frustrated because they're not getting laid, I want to help you get laid. I do, I really do.
Well, that's humanitarian.
No, but I do, right? Everyone needs a little love, okay? Everyone needs a release, so I feel you. But you're being led astray.
What do you mean by that? You want to help? What exactly do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
You didn't elaborate on your point. Well, maybe she will. Maybe she'll elaborate. Let me give her a chance to say what she's gonna say.
Yeah, let's see what she says.
Jordan Peterson will not get you laid. Look at him, listen to him talk, and understand that he is the epitome of a lady boner killer. Like, just don't do it. Why are you needlessly digging yourself into a celibacy hole? You don't need it. Okay, do better.
I don't think she's going to give any explanation. I think she's just using this as an opportunity to put him down.
Yeah, she said she wants to help young men get laid. Okay, fine, let's hear it. Let's hear it, smarty pants. You've got so much to say. You're saying that he's an insult god. Where's your advice?
There's just no need to be putting somebody else down like that as well.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Do better, find a better role model. Point to one. What are you? Anna Kasparian, the enlightened. You just said you want to help men get laid. I guarantee we're going to get to the end of this video. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
100%.
This
100%.
dumb woman doesn't know left from right.
Find a better role model, find a better hero. He's actually working against you. Let me give you more from Jordan Peterson. Many of the young men whom the progressive and cancel culture facilitating mad woke mob, which contains no shortage of bitter self-righteous victimhood brandishing, virtue signaling, accusatory and even outright demented mean girl feminists, have shamed and tortured into cowering for ever daring to manifest a single masculine attribute, have turned to my work and found some solace therein.
Okay, there's two parts of that I love. One is the word salad. Just throw up words against the wall. See, your audience isn't gonna understand it anyway. Second of all, I love that he thinks that he is the epitome of masculine.
I know.
And they're finding solace, like. Right, he's like, finally a real man like Jordan.
No, totally. Like when I hear Kermit talk, I think, turns me on. Okay, let me just give you the last quote. Okay, Peterson adds that he has repeatedly and very publicly told young men and women that they should think very hard about their own personal shortcomings and not the evil of the opposite sex, and that they should, in consequence, strive to amend themselves in the very ways that would make them attractive. And look, honestly, that's pretty rich coming from a man who literally and sincerely argued for arranged marriages. Arranged marriages usually mean that, at least one party doesn't get a choice in the matter, okay? So the idea of like, no, be your best self and that's how you attract a mate, that's not really what he believes in. He thinks that women should submit to whatever desires men want in this country. Violent attacks, by the way, this is little insight into Jordan Peterson here. Violent attacks are what happens when men do not have partners, Mr. Peterson says. And society needs to work to make sure those men are married. Enforced monogamy is, to Peterson, simply a rational solution. Enforced monogamy. Otherwise, women will all only go for the most high status men, he explains. And that could make either gender happy in the end. No, agree to disagree. Like, no, we should have government mandate monogamy. That's how everyone will be happy. We'll all be happy if the government mandates monogamy. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
No, look, guys, I can't begin to tell you how non-intellectual he is. He says things as if they're facts. He says, don't get over-focused on the evils of the opposite sex. What evils? Why did you assume that men have evil or women have evil and what kind of evil it is? Evil as a concept is anti-intellectual to begin with. But anyways, but even if you get beyond that, he just says it as if like, well, obviously these different sexes are evil and now I'm gonna tell you how to fix it. I don't need to fix it because they're not evil. You're just making weirdo assumptions and what do the men, the right-wing men in the audience here? Women are evil. You think they're gonna think, oh yeah, we're evil? No, they're gonna think women are evil. And he just gave them permission to think that. But none of this matters. I could break down every argument into 100 different parts that make no logical sense. But enforced monogamy, We're still having a conversation about this idiot. Enforced monogamy. By the way, from right-wingers who believe in small government. But they're gonna come into your personal life and be like, I am enforcing monogamy upon you. Are you guys lunatics? Answer, yes.
Culturally,
Yes.
the norm. This
Yes,
is the very definition
well,
of
enforced
it.
monogamy is this. It's like, okay, so my son's getting married in September. And so let's say he comes to me in a year and he says, hey, Dad, guess what? I've had 3 affairs in the last year and they've all been successful. I haven't got caught. Aren't I a good guy? What am I going to say to that? No. What the hell are you doing? That's not what you're supposed to be doing. That's enforced monogamy.
Enforced monogamy meaning the people around you try to guide them in a way that you think is going to lead to a harmonious family
Yes,
life.
it's built deep into the cultural norms. And if that starts to destabilize, then there's trouble. And that doesn't mean that it's not prone to all the problems that you laid out. Look, there isn't a bigger problem than successful reproduction. It is the big problem. And all of the solutions that we've generated for it are full of flaws.
They just lied again. He's basically telling, the example we gave is basically telling the guy to not cheat on his wife, be monogamous. These young Turks, these progressives, these Ethan Kleins, all of these kinds of people, these Hassan Abis, they are all mad. I don't know how they got that. They probably watched the clip and couldn't be bothered to get to the end. So they took a subsection of it and completely took it out of context. Even if you disagree with what Jordan Peterson is saying there, the way they have framed him in this video is borderline defamation.
It's very bad.
They have outright lied. Jordan Peterson is clearly not an incel god. And these kinds of people, the young Turks specifically, are working against you. They are working against you. They made a lot of remarks in this video. They made a lot of remarks about conservatives and their viewpoints as if they are completely stupid people that are devoid of being able to understand words, any words, being unable to read. They've spoken down to one half of the United States. Even over here, we have conservatives. They've completely trashed them as well. That's not going to lead anywhere good. But for anyone that watches this video and anyone that watches the Young Turks, do yourself a favor. If you want to rot your brain, go ahead. If you don't, then don't watch their stuff. They've outright lied. No wonder Jordan Peterson wasn't happy about it. I wouldn't be happy with literally almost defamation. That's what it comes across. This feels like defamation.